name is Jamie Fields, and I am the Director of Academic Advising. I know I've worked with you guys in the past as well as the EMBA advisor. So thanks for taking the time to talk through your options with us today. We kind of wanted to set this up so that you guys had a good understanding of what you are to do next and what your options are, as well as introduce some additional opportunities for you, some new things that we've got coming out as well. So I am going to leave this open so that you guys can ask questions. I want this to be pretty informal because it's really to help you make the decisions that are best for you in your career path, in your with your personal goals, and get the information that you need. So feel free to ask questions in chat or even unmute yourself and ask questions that way as well. If you want to turn on your videos, you're welcome to do that. So I can see you as well as you can see me, but I'm just going to talk through a few things. We'll kind of go through the introduction here, and then we'll talk about your options to graduate now since you're at the end of your degree, or enroll in a second concentration and what that means and what your options are. And then also talk through what our new opportunity is with the Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies and what that means as well. So again, thanks for your time. It will roughly be about 30 minutes, but please feel free to ask questions along the way so that as we're talking about things, you really get the information that you need. So first of all, I want to congratulate you guys on being at the end of your original or your first EMBA concentration and having that option to graduate after the early summer term. So I know you're currently in spring 2, and then you've got one more course left in early summer to meet those graduation requirements. And so that's why you have been invited to this session now, so we can talk through what is available to you after this early summer, after your early summer term. So as we go through this, I want you to think about a couple of things. One, what are your personal goals? And two, what are your professional goals? So that you can really think about those as we go through what your options are here at Ottawa to figure out if that is something, if we're providing something that can help you meet those goals. So you might want to take a minute and just kind of jot that down, kind of think about the first thing that comes to mind. Is it a specific career path? Is it a specific field? Do you want to continue on with your education? Some of those things. So think about that as we go through what your options are. So first of all, let's talk here. So you've got your option to graduate after completing your original degree program, and then or the second concentration. So we're going to really focus on these two right now because at this point it's either or. You need to select this option. So you can elect to graduate. So Courtney's confirmed that as up to this point, you have met the requirements so far to earn your degree. So after the early summer term, you should have successfully completed 42 credit hours or have a 3.0 or higher GPA and no D's or F's on your transcript that still need to be retaken. And at this point, then, if you're ready to graduate and confer your degree on your transcript, you would need to submit your graduation application. That is, you should have already received this via email, so it will look like this. You will be finishing after the early summer term. So you can see here at the bottom, early summer. So you would select this box next to July 31st. This would be your conferral date. So after we receive this graduation application from you, the registrar's office knows that you are ready to confer your degree on your transcript. You will not be pursuing the additional second concentration that's available to you. So we would be able to, at that point, once you've completed your last class in early summer, we would be able to do your final degree audit, making sure you've met those requirements that we just talked about. And then they would confer your degree, posting that you had earned the executive MBA degree on your transcript. And that would be put on July 31st is when that would be showing. And then after that, you'll be mailed your diploma. And that would arrive roughly 4 to 6 weeks after that conferral date. So that's kind of the degree completion portion of this piece if you do elect to graduate. So we're also working through our virtual commencement ceremony right now. So I'm sure you've seen emails about that. If you haven't, it's probably because we don't have your graduation application on file. And so you would be qualified to participate in our online virtual commencement that we'll be hosting in May. So we would certainly like for you to do that. So please submit your application by that April 2nd deadline that the EMBA team has outlined for you, so that we can get you on that list and get you included in that virtual commencement as well, if you're ready to be done with your time here at Ottawa. So that's essentially graduation. You're ready to confer your degree and move on to kind of the next steps. However, you do have the opportunity for a second concentration. And what this means is you've already elected one concentration. So you've gotten your EMBA in, say, IT, for example. So you've taken both business classes and the IT classes and alternated those over the last couple of years. And now you've completed that. So your option is to enhance your degree with some additional specialization. And we're offering 2 second concentrations now at our Phoenix location, starting with the summer term. So this is perfect, and why we wanted to introduce this to you, because really it's going to be the first opportunity will be for you as you finish up an early summer. This would be something that you would move into and start right away in the summer term. So for the second concentration, the requirements are that in your original degree program, so what you've already completed, that you do not have any D's or F's and at least a 3.25 GPA. And again, you would not submit your graduation application because you would not have your degree conferred if you're moving on to the second concentration. This adds requirements to your graduation degree requirement expectations. So you would then elect to graduate after you finish this second concentration. And at that time, your degree would confer on your transcript. So if you haven't met one of those requirements that we outlined above, you can appeal to the Dean of Global Initiatives in order to still possibly get enrollment into the second concentration. And Courtney, your advisor, would work through that process with you. So if you have any concerns about that, reach out to her. If you are interested and know you don't meet that, let her know and she'll walk through that appeal process with you. But the structure of the second concentration, like I mentioned, is 6 terms. It's essentially 1 year in length, and you'll take these in consecutive order. So instead of alternating them with a business related course, you're going to have those 6 kind of specialized courses in whichever program or concentration you select in a row. And all the expectations are the same as what you've already experienced in the EMBA program. You'll still have an executive practicum course that's tied to each class, still has the same CPT requirements, international status. All of that would still remain the same as long as you're meeting all the requirements. So again, would still need to be employed as well. So we do have 2 options. The first option is the new opportunity that is available to you that we're just starting at the Phoenix campus. So this is very exciting, and it's cybersecurity. So cybersecurity for managers. This concentration is going to focus on the importance of cyber management to defend an organization's valuable data resources. You'll gain deeper understanding of different cybersecurity frameworks, how to analyze risk, and then enable security enhancements within the cloud infrastructure. And it's going to prepare you to effectively oversee security projects while governing data within privacy and security regulations. And this piece here that I'm about to say is very important. This is kind of within any department of an organization. So I don't want you to feel like cybersecurity is maybe out of your wheelhouse or something that you don't have experience in, because this is really trying to help you if you move into a management role or within different departments of an organization. This will help you understand how to manage and protect that data that they're using within any field. So for example, marketing, there's a lot of data that is used in marketing to determine who to market to, what resources should be used, different, analytics as far as consumer reports, all of that stuff is all data. Finance departments use data. So protecting all of that is kind of what this program will focus on. So it's really cybersecurity for managers. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or feel like it's only cybersecurity for in a specific IT type role or very, specific based on only focusing on cybersecurity, because it really brings in that management component so that you can take this information and use it in any field that you might be in. So with that, some of the courses that you would experience, I did this last time too. Sorry about that. So some of the courses that you would experience here are, the first one would be Fundamentals of Cybersecurity. We have Offensive Security, Data Protection, Incident Response, Supply Chain Risk Management, and then Cyber Execution for Executives. So with this, these are the 6 courses you would have to take. And the first course, the Fundamentals of Cybersecurity, would be absolutely what you take first. And then you would finish, your 6th course would be Cyber Execution for Executives. That's like your capstone class. The other 4 may be in any type of rotation depending on when you start. But those, the first one and that last one will bookend. You'll take those first and last. That fundamentals class is really going to help prepare you to be successful in the other classes and give you an introduction to cybersecurity. So again, if it's not something you're as familiar with now, it will help you get familiar with it so that you can be successful in those classes. So it is essentially like a prerequisite, which is great. So that's kind of a way to help you. One thing I really want to focus on for cybersecurity is that we are building a cybersecurity range at our Phoenix campus, and it's basically a range simulator that you will use in these courses. This is going to allow you on campus, you will be in there part of the time while you're in your weekend campus classes, and then you'll also have time in the virtual cyber range in between those weekend sessions, as well as part of your requirements in that interim time. And this is actually going to give you real life examples of what you would experience with this cybersecurity. So the range is actually kind of in this virtual world, or when you're on campus, you'll be in that specific range with your classmates, and your instructor will be throwing things at you like cyber attacks, viruses, things that you will actually work through specifically to try to overcome those things in real time. So it's a really good opportunity, and it's a state-of-the-art simulator. So it's a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art simulator, which is very unique because this isn't something that is widely available in programs across the United States. So it is a very exciting opportunity, and we're excited to launch this for everyone, for the university and for the students that are interested. So this is your first option for cybersecurity. And again, it's only available there at our Phoenix campus. So to enroll in this, there is an enrollment form. So you would sign up on this saying you confirm that you do want to start the Cybersecurity for Managers program in the summer term. And this needs to be submitted to the EMBA at ottawa.edu email by the April 2nd deadline as well. So then the next option for the second concentration is leadership, innovation, and change. And so this is really why at the beginning, I wanted you to think about what your career goals and personal goals really are to help you determine which academic program is best for you and helping you achieve that. So like I said, we just have that cybersecurity for managers, and then we also have leadership, innovation, and change. And this concentration is going to focus more on the necessary components to be a successful leader and allowing for a better understanding of the important foundational aspects of leadership. And you'll acquire skills in fostering innovative thinking to create a planned strategic change, while also learning how to overcome challenges that organizations are faced with on a daily basis. So really more of that interpersonal skill sets and figuring out how you can lead and manage people and teams. So with that, again, structure is all the same. Just like the other one, you don't have the specific cyber range, but outside of that, the class structure and everything is the same. So the courses that you would see in the leadership concentration or are organizational change theory and strategy, contemporary issues in business leadership, developing leaders, emotional intelligence in the workplace, foundations of leadership, and the creative organization. These will all be on a 6-course rotation. So depending on when you start is how you would take these, and they don't have to be in any specific order. So again, you would have the enrollment form here. If you've decided that leadership is a better path for you, then you would enroll in this leadership concentration. And again, similar form, just specifying that you want to do leadership. And then that also needs to be submitted to the EMBA team by that April 2nd deadline. So you have the two options there with cybersecurity, leadership, innovation, and change as your second concentration. So again, if you're looking back at this right now, you have the option to graduate or enroll in a second concentration, which requires 6 additional courses, roughly a 1-year time frame, to continue on in the program. And then that would allow you to earn a degree in, say it would be an EMBA in IT and leadership. For example, if you did the IT program and then followed it up with a second concentration in leadership. So a lot of information. Does anybody have any specific questions now about those 2 items that I've already talked about? You could put them, yeah.
Hi, Jamie. Can you go to the slide where you talked about the requirements for the 2 concentrations?
Sure.
Yeah. So the last bullet says that you will not receive degree until after successful completion of second concentration. So what does that exactly mean? If I were to withdraw at some point and I don't complete the second concentration, does that mean that I won't receive my original AMBA degree that I would be completing in June?
Great question. No, so it does extend your degree requirements. So you would not, your original degree will not post until you complete the second concentration. However, if you withdraw prior to completing your second concentration, you would note that to the EMBA team. And then you would confirm that you no longer want to pursue the second concentration, and you would submit your graduation application at that time. And as long as you had met the original EMBA requirements, your degree would post and confer based off of the conferral dates of whenever you submit that graduation application.
Okay, so can that be at any point in time or before enrolling in the second concentration? Let's say if I start the second concentration in summer and I withdraw in December, would I still be able to submit my graduation application?
Yes, that process would be the same. So you would confirm with the team that you're no longer pursuing the second concentration and submit your application or graduation application at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, great question. Any other questions? In regards to that, part of why we have that April 2nd deadline is that because that decision needs to be made before you start the early summer term. We have to have time to either get you enrolled in the summer courses that you're planning to take, so that's a part of your schedule, and adjust your billing for the early summer term. If you submit your graduation application and you're only taking an early summer course because you're graduating after that, you would only be charged for 1 term, that early summer term. If we do not have your application on file, then you'll be charged for the full semester because you're confirming at that point you would like to move forward with that second concentration. If we don't have either, you would still be charged the full semester because you haven't confirmed that you're graduating by submitting that graduation application. So that's why that April 2nd deadline is very important, so we can make sure you're set up and your file is all squared away before you start that early summer term. So if there's not any more questions about those, so now I'm going to move through and talk about this new opportunity, which is a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies. And what I want to highlight here is that if you elect to graduate now, you still have this opportunity to apply for a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies. If you go on to a second concentration, then you also, after completion of that, would have the option to apply for a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies. Only if you select the leadership as a second concentration, because our Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies is cybersecurity. So this cybersecurity opportunity is twofold. You could take it as a second concentration to enhance your degree right now, or you can take it later as a separate certificate. So it's not an actual degree, it's a separate certificate, but it does show enhancements or progression within your academic field. So if you take it as a second concentration, it is not available to you as a CAGS, is what we refer to, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies. So if you, this is where we want, why a big reason why we wanted to meet all together and kind of explain this to you so that you can really kind of piece it together if you want to, because there's only a certain order you can do this. If you graduate, do cybersecurity as the CAGS, you cannot go back to do leadership. If you choose cybersecurity as a second concentration, you could not apply for it at a later date for the certificate. So really your options are, if you want to do both leadership and this, is you would need to do leadership as your second concentration, graduate, and then apply for cybersecurity after you're finishing that additional leadership concentration. So the cybersecurity for managers as a CAGS is all the same requirements that we just talked about, same courses, same essential focus, and it has all the cyber range simulation. All of that is the same between it as a second concentration or a certificate. The difference here is that is a new program if you're applying for it as a certificate. So you would go back through the application process with HMS and work with Justin Howell to apply. And you would have to fill out a new application. He does require some new additional documentation, updated financial statements, some items like that that he would work through. And then you would submit your application and go through that admissions process just like you did for the EMBA. And it's important to note that your academic progress through the other programs, whether it's just your original degree program or the second concentration, will factor into your admissibility for CAGS. So if you do a second concentration in leadership, knowing that you would like to apply for cybersecurity CAGS after that, it's really important to know that you need to be successful in that leadership concentration in order to have the academic requirements that are required of getting admissibility into cybersecurity CAGS. So again, it's, I'm not going to go through all the details again of cybersecurity under the Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies because it's all the same as what we talked about for second concentration. It's just that it's an additional component of our academic offerings here. So you've got the option to do EMBA with your original degree that you've elected and a second concentration. And then if you selected leadership as your second concentration, you could graduate from that and then still further your education with us by applying for that Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies and doing the Cybersecurity for Managers program there, which would show some degree progression because you've earned the degree and then you're adding on the certificate program after that. So that's where I kind of wanted to talk through those different options, and then also making sure you understood the stair step of what's available. If you select one thing, it may negate what you could select later as we go through that. So talking through that, does anybody have questions currently in regards to those options? And again, you're welcome to unmute or chat as well. Are any of you interested in the second concentration option?
Yeah, I've already submitted my application for the second concentration.
Perfect. And do you think you'll plan to do cybersecurity or leadership?
Leadership.
Okay, great. Are you interested at all in the cybersecurity that you might then think about doing it as the certificate afterwards? Or is that not something that's of interest to you?
I mean, not at this point, but I'll leave that for later.
I completely understand that, one step at a time. And again, this is why I wanted to have you guys focus on, you know, what your career goals and professional goals are, and what you're interested in personally, because that's obviously going to help you the most and be the most exciting part of being in class if it's something that is of interest to you. So that's great. I'm glad you are planning to continue on and do that leadership concentration as well, because those courses are really interesting, and I've heard from students that it's really beneficial. It's helped them both personally and professionally, since they are more of those interpersonal courses that you don't always get. So that's great. Anybody else have questions or interest in either the second concentration or their certificates? Well, the next step would be, if you do have more questions, or if you're thinking about it and stuff comes up, then you could schedule an appointment with your advisor, Courtney. She's got that direct link through OU Connect that will allow you to see her schedule. So you can schedule a time to meet with her to ask additional questions or talk through what's the best path for you. April 2nd is the due date for the graduation application or the enrollment form for a second concentration. So you would want to send those to that emba@ottawa.edu email as soon as possible. And then if you elect to graduate and then you decide, you know what, I would like to learn more about cybersecurity, we can connect you with Justin Howell as well. So he could help you with that admissions process into that certificate program too. Hopefully, if it's something of interest to you, you'll continue on with it as a second concentration, and that way it would show on your degree that you've earned the executive MBA with IT and cybersecurity as concentrations, so they fall under that degree. But you know, so hopefully you would take that path if that's of interest to you. Otherwise, again, you can always do it as a certificate to show that on your transcript as well. So that's kind of all we had for you today. We just wanted to talk through those options and make sure you understood that cyber is new and it's very exciting, but then also, you know, how that all kind of plays together with your options. So any other questions that you guys have currently? Okay, well, that is all I have. So I will wrap it up unless Courtney has anything else to add. Perfect. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. And if you do have questions, please reach out to us either at that email, reach out to Courtney directly, and we can schedule more time to talk more one-on-one with you if that would be helpful as well. So thanks so much, you guys. Have a great rest of your afternoon.